RAS SB leads, and all dear attendees. Good evening, all. IEEE RAS Kerala section welcomes you all to the 2021 Activities Flag Off event and for the first session of the talk series RALS, which is Robotics and Automation Leaders Symposium. And I'm very happy that today we are honored to have here Mrs. Sharitha Jayakrishnan, Chairperson, IEEE Kerala section, and DGMO, Terumo Penport Private Limited, Trivandrum, as the chief guest of this function. And we are also privileged to have Dr. Roshi John, Global Head of Robotics and Cognitive Systems, TCS, as the guest of honor. Let me welcome Dr. Jisha Veer, the chairperson of IEEE RAS Kerala chapter, and Assistant Professor of College of Engineering, Trivandrum, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you, Swati. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. So very warm good evening to one and all. So as the chair of RAS chapter IEEE Kerala section, I'm very pleased to be here for the launch of the activities of our chapter this year. So the goals we set for this year are to create a unique identity for RAS members across Kerala and to expand the RAS family all across Kerala, and to improve the knowledge level and expertise in the area of robotics and automation, and to encourage and support students for taking up robotic projects for social cause, and improve employment and entrepreneurship opportunities for students in the area of robotics and automation. So with the support of EXICOM student leaders and SB leads of all RAS chapters, I'm sure that we'll be able to achieve these goals. So let me move on to the duty of welcoming the August gathering. Our beloved chair, Sharda ma'am, is a source of inspiration for all of us. Ma'am, your vision and untiring efforts have resulted in taking Kerala section to greater heights. It's our pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jisha. My pleasure.
And we have with us the man who designed the first self-driving car in Kerala as the guest of honor and speaker for the first session of Robotics and Automation Leaders Symposium RALS. So he's currently the global head of robotics and cognitive systems at Tata Consultancy Services, Kochi. So we are very fortunate to have him with us today. So we extend a great welcome to you, Dr. Roshi.
Thanks, Dr. Isha. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes, yeah. A gracious welcome to all my colleagues in the EXICOM and also the student leadership team. And let me extend a grand welcome to all the SB leads and everyone participating in this event. Thank you. Over to you, Swati.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let me welcome Engineer Robin Tommy, Vice Chair, IEEE RAS Kerala chapter, and Head of Rapid Lab, TCS Research and Innovations, for presenting an overview of our monthly events. Sir, please.
I think Robin has not joined. So maybe on his behalf, I'll be talking about the signature events of Robotics and Automation Society. So basically, we are planning to launch 3 main programs this year. So in the initial discussions, we thought of launching 3 programs. So first one is RALS itself, and the grand beginning is happening today, which is the Robotics and Automation Leadership Symposium. The sessions by experts in the field of robotics and automation. And the second one we are planning is Tales or Robotech Tales by the experience sharing sessions by entrepreneurs in the area of robotics and automation. And also a third one, which is called Voice It, which is the session planned by students belonging to the RAS chapter. So these are the main 3 events we'll be launching this year. So we hope that this will be definitely beneficial to all RAS members, including the professional members. Even though the majority are students, we have around 50 professional members. So we hope that it will be supporting them too. So with that positive note, I conclude.
Okay, once again, thank you, ma'am. Yes, the time has commenced for the moment which we all have been waiting for, and I consider it as my proud privilege to welcome today's chief guest, Ms. Sharada Jayakrishnan, Chairperson of IEEE Kerala Section, for launching the official website and flagging off the 2021 activities of IEEE RAS Kerala Chapter. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you, Swati. I'm very, very glad to be part of this event today. In fact, when Jisha sent me a mail asking if I can be part of this event, I was very much enthused. One thing, I'm not yet a member of RALS. I mean, a member of RAS yet, but I'm looking ahead to be a member. So I also want to be part of this event as such because it's a Kickstart event. Um, Thank you, Dr. Roshi, for agreeing to be one of the first speakers and at the right time when everyone is looking ahead at newer things, especially in automotive industry and also in terms of automation as such. Um, so uh, so I was just thinking about what is it that generally we look at when we speak about robots or automation. And when we speak about robots, I think for Kerala, it's it has become a layman's term now with the new movie that came out, Android Kunyapan, where version 5.225, where I think everyone, including, people who have not been fully involved, like of the older generation, also very enthused to know a different kind of humanoid robot who could who could do many things which would I actually been taken by a relative or a daughter or a child of the person. So it has become more and more. So this came out in 2019, and what happened in 2020, we all know how uh, COVID brought us all to think really out of the box when all of us were curbed into a situation where the medical fraternity needed the maximum support, and but many of us couldn't go out and had to be confined to our homes or at specific locations. When we had to come out with, there were many types of um, automating the general processes. So when you say automating, how do you, without a human intervention, um, how are routine processes made simpler? I mean, you're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. I'm not speaking about it, but in general, I was also very glad that there were many student groups within the section and in the different engineering colleges who had actually come out with such service bundled robots who could help out in hospitals. Maybe it's a small thing as giving a medicine to a COVID patient. So we had seen how well even a small thing like automating your dispenser, the way your sanitizers were being dispensed. That's also a small automation. And so with the changes that are happening world over in terms of cognitive intelligence and the artificial intelligence areas, the changes that are happening, this is quite a time when um, your chair was actually speaking about her vision to expand the visibility of this society chapter within Kerala, and also specifically looking at students where you can actually do projects related to these areas. Now it could be it could be a software chatbot, or probably a cobot as such, where you can really um, uh, apply your knowledge and bring out small uh, projects which could later on become a product as such for the society. In fact, we had also had an interaction with Gen Robotics recently, wherein Kerala section had actually awarded them for their innovation in way of you would have all read it, everybody knows it, how they have looked at an area where nobody else had thought about, the cleaning of the sewage system, how the human intervention had been suddenly moved to something which could be automated. So this is a great area where I'm sure everyone who is part of the society or otherwise could involve, get their thought processes seen to see how to simplify the tasks where human intervention is required, and how it could be changed to be more beneficial. While I come from an industry where we manufacture medical devices, there is a thought of deploying cobots which could work along with human beings and act more like a human being, and but do many repetitive tasks where precision is very much required. So I'm very happy today to inaugurate the first session of your programs. One is the Robotics Automation Leader Symposium, RALS, which Dr. Jisha was mentioning, and today it is just starting, and also a program on where Robo-Tales, I like the way it is called, Robo-Tales, which is Robotech Tales, experience sharing sessions by entrepreneurs from the field of robotics and automation. So, and of course, there are other many more programs that are coming up. So it's exciting times. It's 2021. We have learned our lessons during COVID. We have put in our different ways of thinking hats, come out of our comfort zones, and understood what technology can really do, the interventions that could be thought of. So I urge all the members and also the students, those are available here, to really utilize these sessions, the workshops, and the various other programs that are being put forward by the IEEE RAS Kerala chapter, and apply it around. So I keep saying to everyone, see, we conduct a lot of hackathons and whatever different types of thons. There are a lot of solutions that come out of these where we don't apply it finally. It is many of the times it's more for a kind of, what do you say, for winning a prize or probably for the competition as such. But let us also evolve from those models and utilize those solutions for the benefit of the society as such. Swati, I don't know what I need to do for launching the website.
You can officially announce, ma'am. I will be playing the video.
Okay, so I'm very glad and privileged to announce today the launch of the website of the official website of IEEE Robotics and Automation Society Kerala chapter, under the leadership of Dr. Jisha and the other Exicom members and the student Exicom team that has been merging together with the link team of Kerala section. So all the very best for the programs this year and for also the coming years. And I'm very glad that there is a thought towards applying what you're learning, focus on students, and also focusing on the professionals. All the very best and looking ahead to the talk today. Thank you, Jisha, and thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. On your behalf, I'll be sharing the video.
Okay. That's a promo video, right? I can't hear the sound. Is it only for me? I don't know.
Oh, I think it is understood.
Is it audible?
No.
I think while you were sharing, no, Jisha, you need to also enable the audio.
Audio. Yeah.
Okay, let me.
Oh, Robin joined me.
Yeah, I just came back.
I think
Sorry.
he being a newcomer, he should sing a song or something.
Come on, Ravi.
Wait a second. I think there is 1 second.
ഒരു പാട്ട് പാട് റോബിൻ പ്ലീസ് കമോൺ
പക്ഷേ
പാട്ടുകാരനാണോ?
പിന്നെ റോബിൻ പാട്ട് പാടും
ആണോ?
പിന്നെ
സ്റ്റാർ സിംഗറിലൊക്കെ കയറിയപ്പോ ജസ്റ്റ് ഇതില്ല മിസ് ചെയ്ത് കാരണം റോബിൻ ഇപ്പൊ എവിടെ നിൽക്കണ്ട
Wait, I'll be doing. Sorry for the technical delay.
That's okay.
That's part of the game.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, you can see the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so let's all get entangled into this technology.
Yes, ma'am. Our website is also launched actually. So I'll just show that also. Ma'am, you can announce that too.
Yeah, I think I announced the website already anyway.
Can you see, ma'am?
Oh, yes. ഇതൊരു കുഞ്ഞ് ആൻഡ്രോയിഡ് കുഞ്ഞപ്പനാണോ?
Ma'am,
Anyway, thank you. So congratulations on the on the website, new website. Yeah, it's already populated and glad to see. Disha, I would also urge you to keep this always populated and up to date. This is one challenge
yes,
that
yeah. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And I welcome Robin, sir, our vice chair, to the session. Welcome, sir. Okay, now let me welcome Mr. Abdul Ahad, the student representative of IEEE RALS Kerala chapter, to introduce the resource person of the RALS Series 1.
Warm good evening to all the dignitaries present with us in this evening. As Chishama mentioned, Robotics and Automation Leader Symposium was envisioned as a platform where the student community can interact with the leaders in the robotics and automation industry and form a common bond. We are more than delighted to welcome Dr. Roshi John, currently serving as the Global Head of Robotics and Cognitive Systems at TCS, as the first speaker of our RALS program. Speaking of Dr. Roshi John, he is a well-known figure in the robotics and automation industry, taking his having completed his PhD in robotics from NIT Trichy, and having over 13 years of experience in various technological fields related to robotics and automation. Moreover, he has over 16 patents filed in robotics, consumer electronics, and software algorithms. He is popularly celebrated as the man who brought the driverless car revolution in India. We welcome sir for your address.
Are you waiting for me? Just give me a second. My just preloading Zoom once again. There's something wrong.
Sure, Roshi. Yeah. So
Robin,
meanwhile,
yeah.
Roshi, it's fine. Take your time. Meanwhile, Roshi comes in. Roshi has been one of the biggest, I would say, to TCS, one of the most celebrated personalities in not only in TCS, mostly in Kerala. He has been presenting various researches that is regarding AI and robotics. So especially from the automated vehicle side, I think he's the only person who has been doing a very in-depth research into the automated vehicles and wings, and he's also doing that as a part of his hobby as well as from a business perspective. So that's about. I just wanted to also talk about Roshi. That's why we wanted to bring Roshi in this chapter, and this is a part of the RALS thing. So Jishamis, I thought I'll just give that brief. What is the
Yeah, you
programs
can.
announced? I'll just meanwhile Roshi gets prepared. So we have three major flagship things that we were planning. So one is on the RALs, that is leaders like Roshi coming and making sure we are all, I would say, getting the right points from the leaders, and how they have grown into a leadership level, and what we should also be doing the stepping stones to create that kind of a vision from a student society, and also for everyone who is going to be a part of the IEEE RAS society. Second is the robotic tactiles, that is majorly bringing in entrepreneurs. Especially we are planning for the Gen Robotics. We are also planning for Shastra Robotics and all. Come here, discuss on the AI based and robotics, and what is the opportunities lying there, and what you should learn from your college days, and do that. And Voice It, again a platform completely for I would say students, because students should start driving their own initiatives. Students should also be a part of all these initiatives. They should take the leadership roles. More than this year, again, when Jishamis was asking me to join this community, something which we were all trying to see is how we can bridge that gap for automation robotics with industry as well as the academia, and how purpose as a statement can be started from academy, and then bring a social impact also, and a humanitarian, because IEEE is known for its humanitarian, it's known for its technology, it's known for its leadership, it's known for its volunteers. So create that journey also for the entire I would say crowd is also one dream that we wanted to achieve this year, along with this fabulous team that we have, many of them who are there, and create a visionary perspective, and also do activities which will impact many people, and get the right stepping stones to that, and also groom ourselves, grow ourselves, make it goal oriented, how we can execute many of the great things, and using the technology as robotics, automation, AI, and all. So I think that's what I wanted to just bring it. So these are the flagship events we are planning this year, and we have one of the most I would say strong person here, like Disha, Miss Sandhya, Miss, and Nandan sir, everyone. And Sharda ma'am, you also is going to give us, I know that, all the wholehearted support. So thanks to the team, the core team, that's the students. So they, without them there is nothing that's going to happen. So wish you all a great RAS days yet to come. And that's it. I thought I'll bring it. So over to Roshi, if you are ready. Roshi?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Roshi. Sure, go ahead.
So that was an excellent speech by Sharda ma'am. So it is. So she has given some wonderful insights on a lot of things, which is something which I face, and thanks Robin for covering me up before I joined. My computer had some problem, which happens regularly once when you do an actual demo. So I feel that it is a good thing that if something fails on the first attempt, it's really good, so that you can really work on it and make it better. So I was listening to Sharda ma'am, and she was telling some great things. I think she know more about robotics than any of us. She was talking a lot of things from her experience perspective. So the one thing which she told really struck me, because all these movies and all those movies which has come over the years has really made us or spoiled us, thinking that AI and robots are going to do something which is way too humanly possible, or something which is which you can imagine way to doing so many things. But actually, the capability of a robot or an AI system today, when compared to what is possible, on an deployability perspective, is totally different. So I'm personally like, we are selling robots to different companies around the world, and we sell AI based software for different industries. You name the industry, like from banking to automotive to retail industries, or to a lot of places. So because of these movies, these people who are asking like unreasonable kind of request, like how they want to they want to create a robotic system which can read documents just like the way the robot in the movie Endiran reads a book, just like flip the book in its hand and then read it. So on one side, these movies are really creating a lot of problems for us, like implementers and deployers. Like they are set the expectations way too high than what is actually humanly possible. But on the other side, it challenges us. It really challenges us to develop much more amazing super things which was not possible. But when you see any of those any of those new kind of solutions which we need to develop, let it be a robot which can walk around, let it be a robot which can run and give you your Amazon or Flipkart or any of those couriers, it's something not too far. We are working on a lot of these kinds of things. But when you go back a bit backwards, we are living in a wonderful world, a wonderful world where there are so many organisms and animals which are so powerful. It has so much of dexterity. It can run fast. It's so huge. It's taller. It can swim. It can fly. But humans, with their intelligence, created tools, and these tools helped us to create solutions, or it help us to make communities, armies, countries, cultures, and then we were able to to do things for recreation, and then we are conquering planets, and then communication became a revolution, and thereby like giving us a complete immense virtual kind of a way of doing things. And now we have artificial intelligence, and which supports us in doing. And the most coolest thing today is to work along with robots. As Adama mentioned, it is cobots, robots which can collaborate with you, and then work along with you just like the way you would do, and you would do stuff, and then thereby do more job than you conventionally can do, and give us more output. And all these things started with the use of artificial intelligence, and all these things came when the World Wide Web came in. The World Wide Web became a launch pad for artificial intelligence. The reason being, there was so much of content back when in 90s, when this internet was popping up, or internet was in a very nascent stage. The whole there was so much of data which is being generated by people, and you cannot put people to really read and understand what exactly is happening inside the internet. So that fueled one of the reasons why people are talking about artificial intelligence these days. So by the time I've started this meeting at 7:00, and it's now 7:30 now, 1,000,000 or maybe 1 billion messages would have been transferred over the internet, which is encrypted, which is or maybe hundreds of thousands of posts would have been posted in Twitter, Facebook, or any of the social networking platforms. There will be so much of purchases which has been happening in 30 minutes. I'm just talking about the 30 minutes which we had just now. So by putting humans behind all these things, you won't be able to understand what is being posted on a Facebook, or what is being posted on Twitter. you need to have some sort of an automation to figure out what is being posted. Like there are technologies to understand English. There are technologies to understand very complex languages. Very, like if you see any of those review comments which you put, or maybe any comments which is coming on any of those events or news or anything in Facebook, these are categorized based on a lot of information which Facebook understands, and it's a learning process. It's a continuous learning kind of a thing. And all these things, like Gmail, Facebook, YouTube, Uber, all these things have become an integral part of our lives. And then it has become it has seamlessly AI integrated onto it, and it has seamlessly become a part of our life. And now we have mobile penetration, where we have all these apps on your mobile, and there are technology where if you search something on Google about something, and then Amazon suggests you the product which suits what searched on your Google. And that's how the whole internet works. Almost all these services you see are free, but there is a money mechanism which is happening in the back end, which is through advertisement. And that serves through you, where these apps like Amazon, or these sites like Amazon, tries to sell you more products. These things like Gmail or YouTube, figures out what is your preferences, and it knows you really well than your best friend or than your parents, and it will be able to suggest you new solutions, products, or advertisement, anything which you want to, which it think which you want to buy. And so most of us would have seen, like we are getting suggestions on Facebook, product suggestions on Facebook, when for something you search in Amazon. So all these things are happening through this unique way of mobile advertising, with the help of something known as cookies, which is just a text file which can identify uniquely you without personally identifying you, because it is not taking. They are telling that it is not taking personal information, but they are making you their personification you, or they are uniquely identifying you in a specific way that. They know that what is your preference, what is your song preference, what is your video preference, what is your purchase patterns, and all these things will help them to push more advertisements onto you. And and with all this information, they do something known as a search engine optimization, where you will get more new suggestions on your or in a very a broader sense. It will give you a better experience, a better internet experience when you really use it. Then you have all these programmatic marketing, where it does a complete analysis or analytics of like how much information is being shared and what is written on a blog. And there are AI tools which can read and understand languages and figure out what is it you blogged about, what is it you written about a passage, or what is it you have about any of those things which is there. So to fundamentally identify an AI product. The AI product starts with the human-centric product. Then the human-centric product create users where the people are supposed to use it, or it could be an app which runs on your phone. And these users create data, just like in Facebook. Facebook doesn't create any data as such. You are posting pictures of maybe a restaurant, saying that, okay, I went to this restaurant and the food is really good. And that is the data which is being created. And with machine learning, it identifies, and then it is added back to the product, and then it becomes a whole review. And then Facebook understands that there are multiple people visiting the same place, and they are talking something about that particular place. So just like that, if you see any of those product, even if it's a driverless car, it's a product where the users start using it, and the driver and the driverless car would learn more information about the terrain it is being driven, which is being identified with the help of machine learning, and which is again brought back to the product, and it is complete a cycle which is happening. So if you see the evolution of different programming languages, it started with the Fortran back in the 70s and 60s, and it was the type of structured programming changed, and back in the 80s it was C, and then you had the object-oriented programming where C and C++ and Java came in, and then you had more emphasis on UI back in late 90s and 2000s, where you have Visual Basic and Visual C++ and all those things, and then the data-driven systems started coming in, where you have languages like Python, which is taken in the top level, where there is so much of information, or maybe the whole thing is driven with the help of data. So there are so many applications, in AI which you can think today, and the only thing which is stopping you is your creativity to make new things. So AI in agriculture, and specifically in Kerala, this is something which you really need a breakthrough. I've been working with NASCOM, and I've been the review committee of NASCOM for reviewing startups, and I've seen so many new innovative applications which are coming in. And with my experience of developing things in India, we have a competitive edge. Like there's being it's being said that things are so chaotic in India. If something works in India, it means it's going to work in the world, all around the world. Only thing which you need to do is a country adaptation. So specifically with agriculture, you have huge amount of scope. One of those things which I always speak about is a coconut tree climbing kind of mechanism, and then AI which powers it, AI system which powers it. So it is actually easy to make a robotic system which can climb up the coconut tree, because it's a cylindrical object, and there are so many research papers which you can actually refer, which shows there are robots which can actually do the climbing of a unstructured cylindrical object. That's nothing but the coconut tree. But the catch is, how can you identify a ripe coconut? So that is the intuition of the person who climbs up the coconut tree, and with this experience, he'll be able to figure out which one to pluck. And we can actually develop, and we also need to innovate things in bringing in this high dexterity actuators, which can go to different extents and cut up, identify a particular set of coconuts, and then and pluck it. So that's something which you can always think of. And there are like so many examples which you can reuse. It doesn't require so much of investment or anything. There are so many examples out there. This is one of those examples where it is identifying weeds on a field and then pulling it out. So with machine learning, this whole robot has a training on how does the actual crop look like, what are the different aspects of the crop, and how does something which doesn't look like this, it has to be pulled out. So that is what this robot is doing, where it is running and through the crops, and that's a cornfield which is being cultivated, and it is specifically looking for, it goes through every row of this cornfield and figures out whether there is something which is not corn which is growing up, and tries to pull it out or pluck it out and kill the weed. And there's another thing which you're working with the drones team. They even do through TCS. We are working using drones for agriculture. One of these applications is pesticides and weedicides which is being applied onto or maybe these nutrients which are being given onto the field. So there was we did a survey in North India. The major challenge which they face is like they end up they hire people who can actually do the spraying. You might have seen these people who sprays these pesticides or weedicides or these nutrients using a cylinder and a thing. So he gets his wages, and he sprays here and there, and he goes home, and there is no clue whether he sprayed it well. So then we implemented these kinds of drones, which has a tank of a reservoir and a spraying mechanism, and we have geofencing with GPS, with precision GPS. We will be able to figure out exactly. You can develop it. You can procure things from Amazon. Amazon has all the whole elements or maybe parts which you can buy and assemble, and then you can build this by your own. And with this, and I know I have studies from the field. We have real field studies which we did on this one. It seems like these kinds of drones take only 30% less than the actual, human-centric kind of operation. So it precisely marks the boundaries. It goes and sprays and it comes back without too much of time. And there's another thing. This is similar to what I was telling about the coconut example, where it is identifying ripe apples with the help of image processing and a bit of machine learning, where it identifies apples and it figures out how well these apples are ripe and how when it needs to be plucked. So this is something which you can always apply onto the agriculture, and that's a huge scope in it, where you can always think of a startup. And there are so many funding agencies who can actually fund your research or maybe fund your company, and then you can grow. So the money will always be a byproduct of the whole thing. The whole thing, it's all about the idea which you develop and how well you nurture your idea. So there are so many applications in IT. This is another product which we are developing. Like we all would have ordered stuff through Amazon, and this is one of those things which is always growing. You can always think of this where you search for any product. Let's say we search for Tropicana, which is a fruit juice, and when you click open a product, it gives so much of information. There are pictures of the product, and there is so much of information about what juice it is, like what is the nutrient content, what is the allergic information, what is the there are specifications which is there on the cover of this product. And there is a huge industry which works on this, which is called the BPS industry, business process sourcing outsourcing kind of industry. Their job is to look at pictures like this and then type down everything which is there and make a database of this. And when you have an e-commerce site like Amazon or Flipkart or anything, what they do is they take the picture, they get the information, they merge it together and show it on a site. And that is the job which they do. They look at pictures, they type down whatever there is. So we created an AI application which can read, understand, figure out, and then convert the whole information onto a document. So that we are actually augmenting the workforce, so that they don't have to manually type everything. They only need to see whether the application gives you a clear idea on how much confident it is. So if the confidence score goes below 70%, then that's the person who looks at the whole thing. Versus there will be the whole manual operation. So AI and robotics is should be going to reduce the operational cost or reduce the operational efforts of people who are working in these kinds of industry, where they only need a supervision. They only need to understand and figure out how well the robotic system or how well the AI system has actually cleared or maybe read these information. There are so many examples. Like when you have millions of these kinds of products, you cannot just put hundreds of thousands of people to go through this product information and type it and make it as a document. You would definitely need some sort of an AI solution. And this is something which you can build with all the open source algorithms out there. And there is always a market and industry out there. So, then I need to tell you about something which is so passionate, close to my heart, about the driverless car development. The driverless car development, it came to me as a revelation when I started back in 2019 when I was taking a taxi rendered from the airport to home in Bangalore. And there was this person was immensely tired. It was 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was around 50 kilometers to reach home. And I could see him that he's dozing up. He's really tired. I asked him whether you need to stop and have a coffee or something. He said, no, it's okay. So I was asking him like how much you earned from this. He was telling like around 150 rupees or something that night, 2009. And it's not too different today. Even it could be like 200 rupees now. So with 200 rupees, he's risking his life. He's not wearing his seatbelt. I was sitting in the rear seat, wearing my seatbelt. And if that car crashed that night, so at one point he was about to crash onto a divider, and I made him stop the vehicle and I drove the vehicle by myself. And then when I was driving this taxi back home at 2 a.m. or 2 or 3 a.m. or something, I was just thinking, if it crashed that night, I would have, if I was hurt, I would have got medical insurance because I was on a business travel. And I would have got all my salaries, all my hospital bills settled, everything would be taken care of. But about this guy who is trying to earn 150 rupees that night, he is risking his life. He is not wearing a seatbelt. If he had an accident, he would have injured. He would have. I'm pretty sure that that would have been a bad injury. He would have to pay his own hospital bills. I doubt that his taxi company would be giving an insurance. So I was thinking, like, I've been developing robots for a lot of industries and a lot of customers around the world. What is it I'm doing for my own people? So it has become a social commitment for me. And driverless car itself, the whole technology itself is not something which I can develop or any individual can develop. There is a huge set of people who needs to be, it's a huge industry. It's a huge a thing which we need to take care of. So my point was to not to spin it out as a startup or anything. My point was to motivate more people to think about like they can also do new things and bring it onto the world. The concept of driverless car is not something new. Back in 70s, 80s itself, Mercedes, along with Continental, to build this driverless system. They created all these prototypes where they are using these Mercedes, the E-Class. It was not named as E-Class back then. They made it drive on test tracks on very high speeds, where the system is able to do the maneuvering on very perfect kind of a place, where the system was able to drive the car by itself. But the challenge here is, if you have just think about these traffics like this, where you need to, where you don't know, like this is a Silk Board back in 2010 or something, and now the place is way better. They have much more better construction there. But see how many people are trying to jump in. So if we, I was showing this to Google, and they said they cannot even solve it. Even I cannot. It's so difficult. The overall algorithm is so complicated that it is even bigger than NASA's asteroid detection algorithm, and you have to put it inside a vehicle and make it drive by itself when all the people are trying to jump onto the traffic. So and again, this is something which is again shot in Bangalore, where we have all these construction happening, and where is the road? The algorithm cannot even identify a road where a drivable kind of a road. So these are all some unique challenges which you always face in India. But still, I went with the simulation. Then I started developing the actual product. Then we had a different iteration of the product. And this is a video clip from one of these demonstrations which we did, I think, 3 years ago in Kochi, where we did it. We demonstrated on a police conference, and I had along with me Lognat Behra sir, who is our DGP, and glad that it worked that day. Otherwise, I would be talking to you, right now, because I'm just taking the DGP for a drive in the driverless vehicle where I was showing it. So the point is, like, we have been trying to figure out how to, improve the whole technology, improve it, make it work better, make it usable for conditions like what you see in India. And we have been developing different types of prototypes over these years. So many prototypes which we have developed, which improves the drivability, which improves the overall capability of the vehicle. How can you make it drive on specifically on Indian road, where the whole thing is so chaotic, where there are two-wheelers, where there are all these vehicles which is like more like Jugaad vehicles, which are makeshift kind of vehicles, where these vegetable vendors or fruit vendors would use, and none of those standard libraries which you get in OpenCV or any of those whatever libraries has this references to it. So we had to develop everything by ourselves, and we also face this unique problem. There was one time when we were doing a test near Salem, near Hosur, where we are going through a interior village road, and there was this one guy who was making chips, banana chips on one side, and he has this unique way of pulling out the banana without peeling the banana off. So after the whole bananas are taken out, the whole it is with the banana cover. I don't know how to say it in English. So he was throwing this thing from one side of the road to the other, and my lidars registered it as something which is the size of, which is bigger than a bird, which is bigger than a dog, which is flying from one side of the road to the other. So coming back home, we had to do something known as annotation, where annotation means like we are telling this AI that what you saw and what it means about what you saw. So that is the whole thing about driverless cars. So you can see this in this picture itself. On the third quadrant, you can see how the robot is seeing the whole place. This is one of our prototypes. How the robot is seeing the whole place, where it is mapping, where it has a distance information of everything around it. So it sees all these unique things, and you have all these unique things specifically to India, where I see it as an opportunity. When we show these things to even Google, they're really surprised. How can you do this in India? So that's what I'm telling you. That if it works in India, it's going to work anywhere in the world. So you have to utilize that kind of an opportunity to develop systems, develop technologies, which would help all around the world. And your startup or the idea which you are proposing would definitely fly. So just focus on this actual business problem and then just make it. And we do develop a lot of other types of robots. So this is one of those robots which we developed for postal service, where for this. This is where we are using this robot for packaging applications, where there was this huge request from the customer that because of human error, these packages are packed on the wrong packages are being put onto the packaging, but the package looks the same, but what is there inside the package is actually wrong. So what we did is a deep learning based system where it can read the label on the package and look at the package and figure out whether these two matches. If it is not matching, it is putting it in a different box. So we also do a lot of other research activities. This is another research where we are making a robot look at the person who is doing a sequential maintenance operation. A sequential maintenance operation, because the robot knows that he removed one part and the next part is going to remove this, and these tools are required for removing that particular part. So there's a camera which looks at it, and the robot is giving the technician the right tools in the right time. We also developed these kinds of humanoid robots which can actually support us in so many. These are something which we bought off the shelf, but we actually made it work on different. So this is way before COVID and all, where we developed these. I don't know if you can hear the audio of this.
Yes.
No, I can be perpetuated indefinitely.
So we, build these kinds of robotic systems for a lot of applications and for a lot of solutioning. So like the whole idea depends on what you need to develop, on what the actual business problem is, and what you can do. And all I can tell you is, it's about embrace technology and but not become it. Don't become a slave for this technology, but you have to use this technology to and your creativity to find solutions for a lot of things which is yet to be developed, which are so much of kind of business problems which you can see around, and then create a business solution around it. So it's all about the creativity which you put forward to. It's nothing else which you can do. At least that's what I did in my life, and that's what even Robin is doing in his labs, where he is creating excellent products and solutions based on creativity. So the only thing which matters is the creativity and how much effort you're putting onto it, and the rest will all work as magic. And I'm Roshi John. I manage robotics and cognitive systems on a global scale from TCS. Thank you. Hello.
Yes.
Anybody there?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Roshi, for the inspiring session. So I request Nestin for the Q&A session.
Hi all, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay, let me enter to the Q&A section. There are lots of questions in the chat box. First of all, I have some questions to ask.
Wow, please.
What were your motivation of introducing these driverless cars in India?
The motivation is one is it's kind of a social commitment which I felt which is very much required. Social commitment. When I say social commitment, I want more people to work or come in this robotics and AI domain. You have to do something different to make more people think that, okay, if he can do it, then I can also do it. That's the kind of perspective which I had. That is one point number one. And I also have a hidden selfish motive for this. I do run a lot of futuristic research and innovation work in all my career. So I need to have more creative people around me, or people who are way smarter than me, who can develop much more bigger technologies, around the whole thing. So I want to bring in, and I want to, help give them more opportunities to work on a lot of these kinds of wonderful technologies, and to make our world much better for the newer generations to come. So that's what motivates me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, there are some questions from chat box. Albin P. Reggie asked, studying AI means what?
Robin, would you like to take it? I think Robin left again.
Robin is there. Robin was seen.
I cannot see the chat box. How to take it? Yeah, chat. Okay, good. Where is it? Studying AI means what? Studying AI means it's about data science. There are so many very beautiful videos in YouTube which you can just see. It is not like rocket science, because of Python and a lot of languages. It has become very easy for all of us to learn it. Even I used to watch some of these videos. It's so intuitive and it's so easy to understand kind of videos, where you can start with examples. It depends upon what you're trying to solve. If it is about as simple as making a camera, using a camera and making it, or using a webcam and making it identify an apple, it could be as simple as that. Like how does apples look like? What are the different colors of apple? What are the different sizes of apple? Whether you show it a peach and ask the system whether it is an apple or not. Apple and peach looks exactly the same. So how can you make a robust system which identifies? So there are so many examples around you. So AI is not about an ultra intelligent system which works just like that when you switch it on. It's not like the movie Endiran or Terminator or anything. It's about teaching. Teaching with examples on the particular context. That's what it's all about. If it's a driverless car, we are teaching it on how to drive on roads and how to drive on unstructured terrains or unstructured traffic kind of a place. That makes a difference. So that's what AI fairly means. So it's about the programming of a system where it can understand with the help of examples.
Okay, sir. There's another question there that nano cars uses lidar or camera sensors.
It uses both. It uses both.
Okay.
Anybody thought of using drones for plucking fruits? What kind of fruit do you want to pluck? You can think
Mango,
of
jackfruit.
Jackfruit.
Mango, I think.
Mango or apple?
Mango would still be better, that still be difficult because the drones would, hit the leaves and it will fall down.
So caging vecha pore.
Think about it, come out with a solution. There will be something which you can develop. Does driverless car nano uses lidar or camera sensor? It uses both lidars and camera sensors. We had 2 lidars, 7 cameras, and we did have the latest proto has a millimeter wave radar, and also there is a series of ultrasonic sensors which we use. Which one is the dispute? Which is better? There is a dispute on this in automotive industry. What does that mean? Who asked?
That's a continuation of the earlier question.
No, I think regarding lidar and camera sensors he's talking about.
Yes. There's another question from Philip Sabu. He want to create something like Jarvis. Is it possible?
Jarvis is the chat bot, right? Is the Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
Alexa does the same thing. There are so many open source solutions which uses Google Voice Assistant as a backend API. Even Alexa's API, you can use it. Microsoft also exposes some of those APIs which you can use it. The only thing which you need to do is a speech interface, which you can easily do. You can. That's just a night's work. I don't think that it is so hard anymore. It's possible. The price of will coding be useful in AI? So for coding, yes, there are absolutely any time if you get the skill of coding, you should definitely do it. It's just that's another level of things. But yes, it is very useful. Yes, you need to think about like which programming language to use. The price of electronics is one of the problems faced by robotics in this age. I hope you are asked a mandatory boys and other aspirant to groom their passion. I think that's for Dr. Jisha.
Yeah, I can answer. Flemin, I would request you to attend one of our sessions on 24th of February. So where we'll be explaining about funding opportunities for robotics enthusiasts. Okay, so there are many opportunities, funding opportunities, which comes under IEEE as well as RAS. So you please do join for that session, and you will be getting great, so many ideas for applying for funding.
I was also noticed Intel RealSense is that humanoid also is. Wait, which one I read? Yeah, sir. What are the skills sought for an automation industry? What are the skills required for an automation industry? The automation industry is now AI-driven automation. I suppose you asked about AI-driven automation. So it's you have an idea about data sciences. You have an idea about the overall fundamental ideas of like how you can use AI for all these applications. That would really help. If I understand your question right.
I think so.
I also noticed that Intel RealSense in that humanoid robot. So which software platform did we use to interface all these things? So we use custom built Linux machines to run this. So for me, the most important thing when you give it to a customer, it should switch on just like a flip of a switch. It shouldn't wait to boot. So we use Lubuntu, the stripped down version of Linux without any UI in it. The whole thing will be a console application. You have to know all those things, but that helps in developing a product. So the great way to start is to using ROS. If you try to understand a bit of robot operating system, there is so much you can contribute to them, so much you can learn about the different nodes of ROS and how you can integrate all these things together to make a solution. Well, Elon Musk says that AI should destroy all the human race. It's RAC. Are you? I don't really agree with it. It takes a lot of time. So people like you should be in the regulatory authority to figure out, how to close it. So I have a different view on this. AI is not like AI. It is not like AI is going to destroy just like the way you see in Endiran or maybe Terminator or any of those sci-fi movies. It happens when AI is able to automate a lot of industries. So I showed you an example of how AI is going to automate a BPO kind of industry where the whole people is going to lose their jobs. The whole employees are going to lose their jobs. So for that, I've already raised a concern with our Chief Minister, Sir, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, about starting a ministry for AI. So this ministry would identify, and even RAS chapter can actually also contribute in this. We'll identify all these industries where AI is going to disrupt and make people lose their jobs. It's all about upskilling and reskilling these industries where they are going to lose their jobs. It's going to be huge because there are so many countries around the world who is taking up this as one of the most important steps. So that the workforce won't lose their jobs to AI. So how can you use it? So the whole scenario was seen back when these industrial revolution came in, when all the manual operations were removed with the help of steam-based engines or the invention of electricity. It goes back to that kind of thing. But AI has a problem here. AI can automate most of these industries in a faster pace. So it's our duty to figure out how can you upskill and reskill these people to do newer things, and that's what my take on that. I've seen a video of a drone plucking coconut trees. Okay, that's continuation with. What if it's blimp for plucking mango? Blimp is a great idea. Blimp is not as scary and intrusive like a drone, but the size of the blimp should be too huge to hold the mangoes. Something you can try. That's a great good one. I mean, coconuts. I see driverless cars visualized in RVs. You can use RVs and you can use gazebo. Back in my development of my this one, this was Jaren's question. We use something known as WebBots. It was a licensed robot simulation tool which has 3D simulation possible. Now there are so many good tools available. In ROS, there is something known as AutoWare, which is again, you can use Gazebo and all to view it. So I think that's something which you can. That's all free available.
I think there are plenty of questions, Dr. Roshi. Will you be able to?
New questions coming up. Yes. India does using robots or economically viable and agriculture. Yes. So using robots in India is something which you need to innovate. It is economically viable. When you see, I found from my experience, it is totally viable, specifically in the drones for agriculture. Innovation has to bring in. There is so much of cost innovation which you need to bring in. See, I was doing PhD in a time where robotics was totally unheard of. And when I visit different conferences inside India, people are asking me, what are you going to do with robotics in India? Because here the human labor itself is cheap. But now if you see a maid cost, you can actually buy a cleaning robot, a Roomba or maybe a Milagro, which mops and cleans your phone. Let's go for the top end model, 50,000 rupees, which which you can actually compare with the maid salary if you're employing a maid for like 2 years or something, and it is coming down. Back in the time when I was doing it, it was like 200 or 150 rupees per day for a maid, and now it is the salaries has actually gone up. So just like that, the technology cost and the cost of the components will definitely come down, and that would really use it. So that's my take on this. Humanoid robotics in India. I don't know. There are hi sir. Is the driverless car similar to Tesla car? No. Tesla car uses a different tech. That is, Tesla itself is not a driverless car as such. It is an adaptive cruise control system. What we developed is a driverless kind of a tech. Is there any courses for humanoid robotics in India? I don't know. There are MTech programs in robotics, which is on the theoretical side of this one. So most of these things which you need to, I'm not sure. I think Dr. Ajisha, would you be able to answer that?
No, exclusively on humanoid robotics, I have not seen.
Yeah.
But different levels on different, I think, BTech, even BTech robotics and automation started, MTech is there, and even MS in robotics I have seen. And you might have, you can see some of the MOOC courses maybe, but exclusively for humanoid robotics I have not seen.
Is there a gap between, Sean Joseph asked, is there a gap between the automation industry driven by PLCs versus AI-driven robots? Usually when we hear about any automation companies, service providers, they are mostly into PLCs versus digital transformation companies on the AI board. So that is what exactly I am doing now, managing a team. We call it P&L, profit and loss team, which runs into robotics. My job is to bring in AI-driven robots, AI-based robots to replace all these PLC-driven systems. So my team is actually driving a lot of software, which interfaces to all these robots which you see in manufacturing sector, like building cars and all. So all these are driven by PLCs. But what we're doing is we are writing a software layer where we are bridging this AI to these robots and making these robots cobots, collaborative robots, which is way more intelligent than the conventional PLC driven robot. So that is exactly the answer of your question is exactly what we are doing in my team. We are building, we are figuring out, because there are so many well developed robots which are available off the shelf, from Fanuc, Epson, KUKA, ABB. The thing which we are doing is like all these are driven with the help of PLCs. We are writing software which integrates with these things, and my AI software would have extra sensory sensors like lidars and cameras and a lot of things like that, which gives the robot much more intelligence to do adaptive systems. So I'll tell you an example. So we have seen these shampoo bottles, right? So there are different sizes of these shampoo bottles. Let's say like the 200 ml one, which you get in a small pack, the 600 ml one, which gets as a huge pack. So during the manufacturing process, what happens is they want to, these companies would want to switch from the 200 bottles to 200 ml bottles to 600 ml bottles. And that's how quickly they have to do it. But actually it is not possible because it's a completely PLC driven system. And in one of my projects, that's what we did, where we identified based on the demand, we were able to switch, we call it turnaround time, reduce the turnaround time, and we don't have to make the whole plant shut down to change the size of the bottles. Even though it sounds so trivial and sounds so simple for us, but in an actual manufacturing process, it's so difficult. Similar to that, we have cases where there was one of these companies which makes cookies, and they need to have a specific, they make hundreds of thousands of cookies per day. I think 10 lakhs, 1 million cookies or something per day. They push it, they bake it, and they need to have a specific texture on top of the cookies. So that was not possible with the help of PLCs, because they had around 30% loss, where around 300,000 cookies were rejected. So then we brought an AI into it, where it is able to, it was able to do the PLC controlling in much more quicker fashion. And with AI, and we trained with the hundreds of thousands of examples, and now it is we have reduced it to maybe around 5% of rejection ratio. From 30% to 5%, it's a big number. So to answer your question, that's exactly what we are doing. You got it really right. I think that's it, right?
Yes, sir. I think,
thank you, Dr.
one
Roshi,
more.
for patiently answering or taking up all these questions. Yeah, still questions are there?
Yeah, one more. Can you suggest the coding platform to which the current PLC programmers need to switch to the field?
So there are PLCs. I don't know. I don't remember the exact part number of the PLCs, but there are PLCs where you can actually connect it through USB. And the whole thing which you need to do is you don't have to do the lateral programming. You can directly, make it communicate to your computer where you run the AI software. So it depends upon the PLC model, if I understand it right.
Okay, I think he got the point. Their time is running up, so we can go to the vote of thanks session. I am handing this session to Sandhya ma'am. Sandhya ma'am, are you there?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Hope I'm audible.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That was a very inspiring session, sir. So coming to my assigned duty of proposing the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Sharada ma'am, chief guest, for launching the RALS and the website. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and launching both RALS and the website. As a token of gratitude, please accept our virtual memento. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank our speaker for the day, Dr. Roshi John. Sir, it was a really overwhelming experience for me. So I can't actually imagine how it should be for the young minds out there. It was really inspiring, insightful, and the the kind of work you've done, that's really commendable. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And from me and from my team, from the Exicom and the leadership team, I extend a vote of thanks to you. Next, I would like to thank our chair and vice chair and the leadership team and the SB leads for making this event a grand success. Thank you all. Sir, we would like to present as a token of appreciation a virtual memento.
Thank you.
Dr. Roshi can accept virtually.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We would like to have a virtual photo session so we can have a good memory of this beautiful event. So I would like to request all the participants to just switch on your videos so that we can have a click.
ആരാണ്ട് കട്ടിലേ കിടപ്പുണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ, ഒരാൾ കട്ടിലേ കിടക്കുന്നതിന്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ ഓണാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Robin is there? Robin?
Yes, I'm there.
Robin.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Roshi. I was hearing most of it, but in between I got a customer call. So it was really interesting. Yeah, I have heard your sessions multiple times. That's why we wanted you itself in this.
Camera on ചെയ്തോളൂ ട്ടോ, ഒരു photo എടുക്കാനാണ്. Camera on ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. Okay, ശരി. അങ്ങനെ ആവട്ടെ.
ഫോട്ടോ എടുത്തോ? കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thanks.
Based on your experience after you done the PUC, are you aware?
That was from Roche. അല്ല, അതായിരുന്നു റോബിന്റെ അടുത്തായിരുന്നു. Okay, thank you.